Hi, and welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation focused on youth mental health. Before we begin today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that all content that is found in our podcast is created for informational purposes only. This content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard in this podcast. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get started.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again today. I'm super excited to record this new episode. We do have a very special guest, Matthew Joseph, with us. He is the first father on our series of mindful parenting. Looking forward to listening to his journey. And with us, Sister Rini is joining us, always bringing that calmness, peace with us. So before we start, Matthew, my request to you is please do introduce yourself. Tell us more about you. Where are you dialing us from, joining us from, and who is there in your family? Anything you would like us to know about you.
Yeah, great. Thank you. My name is Matthew. I'm a certified fraud examiner. I have been with Splunk for 10 and a half years now. I am based out of the New York metropolitan area, which includes Connecticut. So I'm actually in Connecticut, just across the Long Island Sound. You can actually see Long Island from our town. I have a 26-year-old daughter from a previous marriage, and we have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old who all live with us. And we live our day-to-day challenges with those children. We actually intentionally had three to help them create their own system, actually. And be careful what you wish for, because they are creating their own system. And now we are realizing that it is two of us against three of them. Against, I say with very much a gentle joking, because we are one systemic family. But yeah, that's who I am, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you, Matthew, for telling us a little bit about you. You mentioned, something related to fraud. Oh my God, is it a stressful job role or do you enjoy it?
Oh, I enjoy it very much. It is stressful, but in a very good way. I think when I was 11 or 12, my mother and I pulled up to the bank. This is in McLean, Virginia. And she was taking out money, and they replied back, "Oh, you don't have any money." And we were like, "What?" And so we went inside the bank. They showed her a letter, a handwritten letter, saying, "Please transfer all of my funds to this bank in the Philippines." And it was signed her name, but it was not her signature. The bank did not even check the signature card and transferred the money out. And this is like grocery money. And my mom was panicking. I was like, "Oh, we're at the bank. This is so boring." But then as I grew up, I realized, wow, this is very serious. And this happens all the time. And I think that's one of the um, incidents that really propelled me into looking at fraud and looking at fraudulent activity and how to prevent it. And really, fraud is a study of human behavior. So I became very interested in human behavior, psychology. I'm in therapy, individual therapy, couples therapy. We go to family therapy. I Side note, I do like to say people have this stigma about therapy, like, "Oh, you're in therapy." You go, hopefully, to the doctor once a year for a physical. They say you're supposed to go every 6 months to the dentist. Just go to a therapist once a year. Do a check-in. Have a little mental check-in. Hey, how's it going? How are you? And you'd be surprised at the things that come up. So yeah, it's not as stressful. I'm on the pre-sale side of the house. I'm trying to tell that Splunk Cisco better together story, where Cisco is the highways, I like to say, the bridge, the highways, and Splunk is the cars. So we can tell that story together and measure human behavior online. In terms of fraud, marketing is also a study of human behavior. It's just a different point of view. I'm interested in really rare user agents or user agents with the word Zeus in them, for example. Marketing wants to know the top 50 user agents so they can develop the website, the marketing campaign, the application to better suit our customers.
Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that personal story. My God, it touched you so deep, you decided to pursue that as your profession. So, my question to you, do you tell these stories to your own kids? Are you inspiring them for their future?
So, yes and no. So, yes, I tell them these stories. My parents worked for the CIA. So I was not allowed to know what they did as a child. I actually, full disclosure, had a gave a public speaking talk at a internal tech event, and I got called into human resources because I told a story and I said a certain word that's a part of that story, and it turned out like that. But essentially, I found out in a very unique way that my mother worked for the CIA, and so she pulled us into the bathroom, turned on the radio, turned on the water faucet, and told us, the house might be bugged. We had a code word where if she was ever on the news or if we ever received a message of this code word, that meant she was probably going to die. And this was normal for me. Like I doesn't everybody grow up with a code word? Spoiler, apparently not. So I try and share as much as I can with my children about what I do. I want them to know what it is I do. I've been on customer calls and they come into my office because I forget to lock it. But they come in and they sit in on calls. I'm like, you know what? This is fine. This is okay. We're still having the conversation. Uh, Interesting story though. I took my son to a soccer game it was around 10 in the morning. And afterwards, we went to a fast food restaurant to get something to eat. We're waiting in line in the car in the drive-through, and he goes, "Oh, that's a camera." I look over to the left, and I go, "No, that's a light." He goes, "No, no, no, that's a camera." Kind of look back like that. I'm like, "Oh, wow, that is a camera." He goes, "You know what I would do? I would hide in the woods, and then I would crawl up the wall there, and there's a vent. I would crawl in the vent and get down in the kitchen." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, that's how you would game the system." And I'm like, "Did you just come up with that on your own?" So I didn't prompt him. I don't remember talking about something like this, but he just came up with it on his own. And I had to remind him, okay, and that's how you tell the corporation how to fix that, right? You don't do it yourself. This is you doing preventive maintenance, helping this restaurant be more proactive about their fraud or security posture, right? Oh, yeah, yeah, of course, I'm into it. So we pull up to the window, and sure enough, he goes, "Dad, look, see the vent? See, you can jump down and right there." I'm like, oh. So it's sort of naturally, organically filtering down to the children.
Wow. So you are kind of a role model for them. You're telling them, yeah, if you notice something, you don't try to fix it, but first, report it in the right way.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So, tell us a little bit more about your parenting style. As you mentioned, your house is full, your hands are full, your heart is full. So, how do you remain mindful while parenting? And is it different for parenting girl versus boys? Anything would you like to share?
Absolutely different. Yeah. So our daughter is the middle child, and I was the middle child. So I'm very affectionate towards her and very appreciative of her role in the family system. My oldest son, he and I actually, he's the 10-year-old, he and I share a birthday. So we have a very special connection as well. I had my upbringing was very old school, I'll say. There wasn't really much room for mindfulness and understanding and things like that. It was sort of do as you're told and or else suffer the consequences. So lacking that knowledge has been one of my challenges. How do I parent myself out of these children? I don't want them to have the same upbringing I did. I want them to have a better life. There was one time I was talking to my mom and I said something about, being smarter than she was or something like, growing up and experiencing different things. And she looked at me and said, "You will never be more wise than I am." I was like, "Oh, you have the mentality that I will not be more wise than you. I want my children to be smarter than I am. I want them to have a different experience." And so by definition, I am going to feel like a foreigner in their lives in certain aspects. So my son has gotten upset and said things like, "Oh, I wish I was never a part of this family. Oh, you're the worst dad ever." And to his credit, 5 minutes later, "Dad, I'm sorry for saying that." He apologizes, and we were able to talk about it. And I allow him to say it. Because the most important thing for me with the children is you have to be able to talk to me. I don't care what you're saying. I need you to communicate with me. Because if you are at a party when you're 15 and people are drinking and you're going to drive home with somebody, like, I need you to be able to call me. If you're in trouble, I need you to be able to ask for help. And I think one of the challenges just in general with parenting with people is not just when people ask for help, but the response that they get. When people ask for help, if they don't get help or they're shamed for asking for help or made to feel stupid for asking a stupid question, then they're more hesitant to ask for it. So really, in what we'll call parenting our children, I'm trying to keep that channel of communication open. And then to the difference between the boys and girls, like the 4-year-old and the 10-year-old, the boys, they literally will say, "Hey, let's go fight," because they think that's fun. Whereas my daughter's like, "Let's go draw." The personalities are very different, and respecting that, honoring that, and encouraging it is, if I'm honest, it's a challenge. Hey, Dad, come look at what I drew. I'm in the middle of doing the dishes, and I literally have to stop and go, "What's more important, doing the dishes right now, or just spending 2 minutes with your daughter to say, 'Oh my gosh, wow, look at what you drew. That's incredible. Tell me more about it.'" And so finding that balance, I think, is where the mindfulness comes in. And thankfully to Cisco and our mindfulness program and all of the things, the Monday meditations, we get away from ourselves and we don't have to. It really benefits us to come back to center and be like, "Okay, literally focus on your breathing. What are you doing right now? I don't have to do the dishes. I'm going to go hang out with my daughter for 5 minutes."
Matthew, you shared so many good things, and I'm like, oh my God, where do I start? First thing you said, you're trying to parent your own mind. So I would request Sister Rini to elaborate on that because we did talk about that in our past episodes, and I think that's the beautiful thing any parent can do. So, Sister Rini, would you like to add more?
Yes, and thank you so much, Matthew. It's like the channel of open communication that you were talking about. And I feel it is probably the essence of the beautiful parenting, right? And what I have found, one motto in my life, and especially about all these fraudulent methods that you were talking about, how I can be committing that fraud in my internal world also. And that kind of really helps me to be a genuine person, to be honest. And so, one motto in my life that really helps me, I'm sharing from the experience that one thing that no relationships, no things, no objects, or this world in general, it's not here to make me happy. It's not here to make me peaceful, or it's not even here to make me joyful, but it's here to awaken me. And when I keep that attitude in my relationships with my children, I'm able to see the fraud that I'm committing in my interactions with them. And I'll just give one simple example. Like the other day, I was talking to my daughter, and she called me up, and she was quite disturbed about what the things are happening in the world. And she was like, "What has the world come down to?" And she was really in pain with whatever she was coming to know about what's happening. And I could see there was also a subtle pain arising in me in my response to seeing her pain in her. It felt like as though I'm absorbing her pain. Yeah. And I tried to calm her down whilst I'm myself in pain. And when I tried to do that, she caught it so clearly that it's not coming from the right place, these words that mom is speaking. And she told me, "Mom, you're crossing your lines, you're crossing the border." "Do not cross the border. This is not the right time to speak to me. I will tell you when it is the right time." And and I immediately felt, yes, I did cross the border. I crossed the border of not absorbing pain, not judging her pain, but actually just being aware of the pain that is arising in me in response to her pain. And just from that space, when I was kind of seeing, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. And it was like the conversation ended. And then after 10 minutes, and within those 10 minutes before she called again, I was checking that how much, because we are not comfortable with the pain, my mind is like literally finding fraudulent methods to calm down that pain by calming her pain. So that if she's okay, then I can be okay too. Because it's not able to take care of its own pain. And in that, it's like I really came to know that we are really not speaking to each other at the level of words. We are really speaking to and connecting with each other from something underneath the words. And it could be a parent-child relationship, it could be of two friends, it could be any relationship or world at large. We are kind of really communicating with each other in a very subliminal manner. And that is when she called back actually, and then she said, "Now I'm ready." And I was doing this work with myself in the kitchen whilst doing my work. And as you said, that you could be doing so many different things and you could be performing so many different tasks, but at the same time you're also parenting your mind. And that is why, I mean, I thought that this is something which is beyond thought. So you're just really getting to know your truth. I'm aware of these sensations of pain, and I have this deep desire to fix her so that she should not be taking any pain and her life should be filled with happiness. No sorrow should come in her life. God forbid, she would never have any kind of ups and downs in her life. And we think this is like the best gift a parent can give. But over the years, I have realized the best gift as a parent I can give is that really to help them see that whatever condition of the mind or state of mind they may have in this moment, their truth is unscarred and unstained, and it's perfectly fine to have these kind of emotions, to be felt, to be experienced from this detached space of being that aware space. And there's nothing to judge. And even if the judgment is coming of these so-called difficult feelings, they are actually coming to you to be released. Like the steam in the pressure cooker, right? So it's like they are coming, these feelings are coming to be released. I remember somebody had once shared with me this very beautiful analogy of a well with lot of creepy crawlies in it. And in this well, at the bottom of the well, there are lots of creepy crawlies which are dormant. And on the surface of the well, there are creepy crawlies which can be seen, which are visible. And there's a sun above the well. And whenever the light of the sun shines directly on the well, those dormant creepy crawlies, they can come up. And when they come up, the sun is not judging them. The sun is not trying to get rid of them. The sun is not trying to say that why are they there for? What are they there for? It's just allowing them to be. And it was like, the way I was taught this was like, when you know your truth of who you are, and you use every relationship as a way to be able to see those creepy crawlies hiding in the spaces within you, which you were unconscious of. And they are making you, these relationships, these situations, these challenges are actually making you become conscious of these creepy crawlies hiding in the dark spaces. And they have been ruling your life, controlling your life unconsciously. But when something triggers, maybe a situation, a person, a challenge, something triggers you, they are your blessings. And really see them as your blessings. And I think that attitude of seeing situations, people, and circumstances, and somebody's rude behavior, somebody's very nice behavior towards me, am I coming from the place of equanimity? And I would say in Hindi, there's a word for it called ekras, one taste. It's like that one taste of who you are, and aware of these creepy crawlies coming up in the light of awareness that you are. And they are not coming to disturb you. These creepy crawly, these emotions, they're not coming to disturb you, but they are themselves seeking freedom from your judgment. They're coming to seek freedom from your hatred and dislike towards them. So that kind of really changed my attitude. And as you said, that your children are teaching you, right? So that is why, in that sense, I find my children are my teachers, or everybody in that sense is my teacher, because they're really kind of helping me see those unconscious aspects of things hiding within me, which are unknowingly ruling my life, and I'm not even aware of it.
Yeah,
So,
I can completely appreciate that. And really seeing our own children suffer, whatever that means, is difficult for us as parents. It builds character though. Like it helps them. I don't need you to know everything. I need you to be able how to figure it out. So you're going to have heartbreak in your life. It's going to suck. It's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be horrible. But I need you to know how to get through it. And I need you to know that you're loved. And I need you to know that you are you. And then as I'm saying these things, I realize that I'm saying, I need. Oh, it's not about me. It's about you. And I am not here to solve your problem. I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to support you. I want you to go out and find love, find your job, be an artist, be a lawyer, whatever it is you're going to do. Fail, come back home. Go back out, come back home. And that's essentially what relationships are, right? Harmony, disharmony, repair. Harmony, disharmony, repair. It's just cyclical, and it goes round and round. And so I find that with the kids, I don't know how to parent them. You know, it was so much simpler without AI or computers or everything. Where, well, just be a doctor, be a lawyer, go. When computers were first coming out, go be a developer, learn a language, and go do COBOL. Oh no, not COBOL, Python. Oh, not Perl, not Perl. C, C++, C sharp. You know, it's like I don't know what to tell them. So I have this conversation when we hang out with friends. You know, What are you teaching your kids? So what I've come up with is critical thinking, empathy. And the problem with empathy is I believe empathy can be learned, but it's difficult, very difficult to teach. So critical thinking, empathy, and then flexibility. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So yes, you're feeling that pain from a breakup or the loss of a job or whatever it is. How do you deal with that? How do you move forward with that pain, that discomfort, whatever it is, being able to again share your emotions with people, ask for help. If you get it, if you don't get it, you feel rejected, whatever it is, move forward. How do you move forward? And that's sort of what I'm trying to teach the kids.
Yes, Sister Punam, would you like to add something to that?
So, yesterday I also had similar conversation with my daughter, and I could feel I'm feeling her pain. And how do I distance myself from that pain? Because I do not want to add on to her pain, but at the same time, I want to give her that comfort or advice. I'm always there for her. So the fear of losing job, right? Like because of the AI or the world we are living in. So she was absorbing fear from her surroundings. She was herself fearful, and she was telling me, what to do. So to your point, Matthew, I also recommended her, like, I'm there for her. Even like she always calls me and checks, like, if I'm in a meeting or not. I was telling her, you are on a hotline. I'm always there for you. You are my priority. So she definitely appreciated that. She felt great. And I was telling her to even take help from, professional if she feels like mom is not able to help that much. So to your point, we have good intentions for our kids, and I do not have any stigma seeing a therapist, because yes, maybe parents can have that emotions of attachment. They can absorb the suffering, or they can suffer themselves and give that to their child, right? So when you both were sharing that, and it just came very visibly in my mind also, like, I am like crossing that maybe boundary. I'm absorbing her pain now. I need to stop, I need to give whatever I need to give from the space of love, not from fear. So, and I was telling her what she is experiencing, it's not unique, it's happening everywhere, but she needs to protect her energy. So she appreciated. That's what I wanted to share. Sister Rini, would you like to add something more before we call it a day?
No, I mean, both of you shared it so beautifully that it's more about really modeling it for them and kind of helping them see that how we are really taking care of our own emotions. And in fact, not even kind of our own emotions, but more like impersonally seeing those emotions. And more we see our and live the way we live, I think we are not living from the sense of lack, trying to use the world to fulfill our desires and to make us happy, but kind of using our happiness in the service of the world rather than using the world in service of our happiness. And And that's when I find that when they really see you interacting with the people, interacting with activities, living life not out of sense of lack, but out of the sense of fulfillment that you are, fulfilled that you're feeling. So like you could be just simply interacting with somebody and needing a little bit of their approval or having a nice image in their mind about you, right? You can come from that space, but that will be also seen and absorbed by them. But if you're coming not wanting anything from anybody, not worried about what somebody thinks about this particular image of this body mind, But being very authentic, as Matthew had shared in the beginning, being very authentic and being very genuine in your interactions, coming from that place of not lack but fullness. I find that's what they will really be catching, and then life will be a beautiful dance for them, I find, rather than a struggle and a war. That's 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 what I wanted to just kind of share. Thank you.
So, Sister Rini, you said very deep things. I do not know if it was easy to understand. So, when you say lack or abundance, it's not about the money, right? So, I would
Yes.
like you to clarify on that.
Yes, thank you, Sister Punam. Yes, that's very important. Yeah, one is sense of lack because I'm feeling I'm a separate person, separate body, mind in this world around me. Sense of separation is a sense of lack. That's the sense of lack I was talking about. Not feeling that we all share the same being, but I'm feeling I'm a separate person, you're a separate person, everybody is separate, and in your loss is my gain. Now, that is a sense of lack. It will create that sense of lack. But when we come from that sense of being full, what I mean is not abundant with wealth, that may or may not be there, it doesn't matter. But that sense of fullness of your worthiness is not coming from what your thoughts are, what your emotions are, what your possessions are, what your relationships are, what your work is. But your sense of fulfillment is coming from the nature of knowing your truth of who you really are. And that sense of abundance, when you know, I remember there was a time when we went through a very difficult situation in our life. And in the sense that it was many, many years ago, my husband had lost a job and we didn't know what was going to happen, where there weren't enough funds. But this knowledge and this study was there, this teaching was there with me, and I felt so fortunate. I felt I had the greatest fortune, and I really felt that his sense of worth is not based on what he earns or what he does or doesn't do, whether he can take care of the family or not. No, there is something more to this body mind than just these bundle of thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions, and possessions. There is something more, and that still presence of that being, which cannot ever be stained, harmed, touched by anything. That is our real fortune. To know that truth about ourselves is the greatest secret of life. And that is our abundance. That is our, I would say, if one knows that, then life can be a roller coaster ride and you'll be enjoying it.
Thank you for clarifying. This is exactly what conversation I had with her yesterday. I said, whether you have a job or you don't have a job, you're worthy, you're awesome, you're loved. So just remove all that fear. If you have job, then society respects you, your parents care for you. So I think poor girl was thinking her worth is because she has that job. So fear was there. So I wanted to clarify. Thank you so much for, confirming what my understanding is also your understanding. So Matthew, do you have any questions for us before we drop off?
No questions. I just want to sort of reiterate what Sister Rini said about, the abundance is really realizing you are not alone. You are part of a system. This is just our issues and challenges, they're systemic. And where we've come from, it wasn't my mother's fault. It wasn't my grandmother's fault, my great it's just systemic and coming down. And now we're going to pass it forward. And what are we passing forward is something really to think about.
So beautiful. Yeah. So, I do believe in that oneness. I think Sister Rini was also talking, and I think that's the need of the hour. We are living in that competitive world. Even in the business, we see people are stepping on each other's toes. They think if they rise, then, they will be recognized more, they will be respected more, while they don't understand they are harming themselves because we are together. As you were saying, Matthew, this is a system, whether we realize it or not, right? We are together. We need to be there for each other. And as a parents, also the same thing, right? Even though we brought kids to this world and now they may be close to us, they may be far from home, but we are connected, we are together. So, very lovely conversation. Truly enjoyed talking to you, Matthew and Sister Rini. I took a lot from this conversation, and I hope our audience also are enjoying this conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy your rest of the day.
Thank you, Sister Poonam, and thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
You are listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every month, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we thank you so much for listening.